Hey, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another video for the 80s horror movie marathon. And shit, I had the microphone in the wrong way, so that's a great way to start the review, but I'll keep it in. But Creepshow for 1982, definitely one of the best anthology films out there. One of the best anthology films of all time. Directed by the late great George Romero, he's very much missed. I mean, he directed Dawn of the Dead, that's literally one of my favorite horror films. It's my favorite zombie film, one of my favorite films of the 70s. And this is a DVD from overseas. This is a gift I got a long time ago by a very nice guy. I don't even know if the guy watches my videos. Maybe not, maybe he doesn't want me to mention his name. I don't know. You never know. But if you're watching, thank you once again. This is many, many years ago. And it's a fun anthology. I mean, Tom Savini doing the effects. Written by Stephen King. George Romero, this is after doing films like Dawn of the Dead. And I believe he had done Knightriders by then, which I could never get into Knightriders. Just wasn't for me. But this has really solid music. That na 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 na. And in a weird way, I don't follow much Tales from the Crypt, but yet this one I really enjoyed. You have a good cast. I mean, you got Tom Atkins at the beginning, who's his asshole father, who slaps his kid, which is actually Stephen King's son. I believe it's Joe King. I think his name is Joe. But yeah, Tom Atkins slaps him for reading this crap, this comic book garbage named Creepshow. And then it leads into each of the stories. And you have about 5 stories. It starts off with, to me, the weakest story, the story I never cared for at all. And it's called Father's Day. And I mean, at least with each of these stories, including this first one, which I didn't care for, at least you have these interesting comic book panels and the use of colors at times that really scream the EC Comics feel to it. This is not these stories are not meant to be realistic. They're in another vein, in another reality. So you can play with the colors and brighten up certain images in the background of characters, and to bring a comic book to life. It's pretty much what I'm saying. But I mean, the first one, it's this guy, old ass motherfucker who died, and I want my cake. I got your cake here in my pants. Came out of my ass an hour ago. You want to eat it? And this woman had hit her abusive father with his ashtray. It's Father's Day again. She's at the gravesite. He comes back. Good effect on the skeletal corpse. I like that. Ed Harris is in this because he had worked with George Romero on Knightriders, and he dies by the slowest moving fucking tombstone ever, which I thought is one of the silliest deaths. Come on, he stands there he sits there for 5 minutes, and this thing's I'm like, fucking move, dipshit. So he dies from stupidity. And he's like, I always thought that was just a dumb death. I mean, I don't know if maybe that's the point, but I didn't care for it. And then at the end, the corpse comes in with the head on a cake. I dropped my cake. I'm like, good, now eat it and shut up. So, I mean, other than the skeletal corpse effect, I didn't care for the first story. But then it picks up with the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill. And really, the main fun of this is Stephen King's performance, where he just plays this guy who this meteor drops on his farm, and this green stuff that looks like like glow-in-the-dark gel, this green gel, and he's like, oh, meteor shit! And he gets this stuff on his fingers, and there's this grass that whatever he touches, it grows and grows more and more. And Stephen King, I know he was pissed off at George Romero after the movie was done. He's like, look what you made me look like. But for the performance he's trying to give, it's pretty fun. You meteor shit, or, oh, you lunkhead. And the growth is like on the tip of his tongue and all over his farm, and now to his face like a beard. And ultimately, it is kind of sad by the end of it, where it's gone all over everywhere, that he's become almost like this plant creature. And he has to beg God to hopefully be able to do this and kill himself by blowing the top of his head off. But it's so changed that there's no blood left. It's just poof. And I don't know, the whole thing with the plants and the grass and how it just keeps growing and everything, I can't really put into words how, but it was kind of creepy to look at. Maybe because I put myself in that situation. It's like, if this thing kept growing no matter what you did, I imagine like everywhere, including on your body, this thing just grows on you. I don't know, just kind of a very creepy notion. So I'm like, oh, well, this anthology does pick up. And then you got a fun one, something to tide you over. Galen Ross from the original Dawn of the Dead makes a small appearance, but pretty much Leslie Nielsen was with Galen Ross and Ted Danson. Galen Ross fell in love, and Leslie Nielsen doesn't like that. So he leads Ted Danson. Yeah, Leslie Nielsen from Naked Gun and Airplane. Ted Danson, who would be in Cheers, and he was in 3 Men and a Baby. Leslie Nielsen leads Ted Danson to the beach and gets into this hole and buried up to his neck. And Leslie Nielsen's having fun as the villain. He's having a ball. He's the type of guy that sets up cameras and makes home movies of this stuff. And he's a guy who's definitely despicable, but he also gets his comeuppance later on. And yeah, there's some good-looking shots by George Romero. I mean, this is definitely one of his better movies, like Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Creepshow, Monty Shines, The Dark Half I liked. I reviewed a lot of George Romero stuff. I have a review of Monty Shines and The Dark Half on the channel. When I get to 85, do Day of the Dead, I'll probably do Dawn of the Dead just because. Night of the Living Dead, I just could never get into Night of the Living Dead. That's just me. I prefer actually the 1990 remake over the original. That's just me, though. But I mean, like I was saying, there's some good-looking shots, like a shot where Ted Danson's face looks like he's underwater. And that's, I mean, it's pretty dangerous for the actor, but it's an effective shot. And that's what I mean by the colors, because in that scene you see like this bright red type of color expand in the back of his head, like in the background, and it really showcases the comic booky feel and appeal that the movie has. It makes it interesting and more unique than the typical horror film. And then Ted Danson and Galen Ross come back as these waterlogged zombies and with seaweed over it. And the way it's shot with the tilted angles and then enhanced colors. And Leslie Nielsen gets his comeuppance where now he's on the beach and he's like, I could hold my breath for a long time. Then the water comes up. It's like, I miss Leslie Nielsen. That's another guy who I miss. Leslie Nielsen, anytime you saw him, you just smiled. He's almost like a welcoming presence anytime he was on screen, even when he's playing the villain. And whether it be like I said, Airplane, the Naked Gun films, even if films aren't that great, like Wrongfully Accused or Spy Hard, it was always still nice to see Leslie Nielsen there. Then we get to the one which I think for a lot of people, including me, would be their favorite, The Crate. Hal Holbrook, who was in John Carpenter's The Fog, underrated film called Rituals. He's in this, who is this guy, henpet guy, who's married to this huge bitch played by Adrienne Barbeau, also from The Fog. Very completely different role. I don't know if Adrienne Barbeau ever played a role like this again, where she's so bitchy and so unlikable, that when Hal Holbrook has fantasies, daydreams of shooting her in the head. Not a thing, Wilma. Nothing wrong. And everyone's like clapping. He's like, ah. And then he wakes up from his daydream and she's bitching about him some more. But I mean, the stories, you have this other guy, they find this crate under these stairs, and it's this big creature, which Tom Savini nicknamed Fluffy. And good looking creature with these big teeth. And just a very cool looking design. I know he had help from Rob Bottin to know how to do that kind of stuff, because Tom Savini had just done gore and kills, but not really animatronic creature work. And Rob Bottin, who had done John Carpenter's The Thing and others, helped him get up to speed on how to do that. And I thought Tom Savini did a very effective job. And one thing leads to another, and people get pulled into this crate and eaten up, and Hal Holbrook leads Adrienne Barbeau, and she gets her just desserts. It's just the sense of humor, the black humor with Hal Holbrook, Adrienne Barbeau's characters. I believe the other guy is Fritz Weaver. I believe that's his name. I could be wrong. Him and Hal Holbrook, their interactions with each other, the creature that Tom Savini designed, just definitely, it felt like the most horror of all the stories. I mean, technically they're all horror, but I don't know. It was cool to see this kind of little short creature feature in the middle of this. Very entertaining. Yeah, I would say that's the best one. And the last one I would say is my second favorite, and that's They're Creeping Up on You, where E.G. Marshall is this rich, evil fuck, asshole who treats everyone like shit, but he lives in this place where he's just very germophobic, and everything's like white, and he's spraying all the time. But there's a problem with cockroaches, which I can relate to because I had my share of cockroaches when I first came in here. So I know how it goes. I know how E.G. Marshall feels. And then watching it, just remember that just made it even more icky and gross, where all these roaches keep coming everywhere, anywhere, to the point he locks himself in this room, and the bed is kind of moving underneath, and he pulls the sheets. It's like millions of cockroaches. I don't know about millions, but at least thousands of cockroaches. And just the primal ickiness of cockroaches, and then where this guy, it cuts away and then it cuts back and there's no cockroaches. You're like, where the hell did they all go? And they all just pop out of E.G. Marshall's body. So like the idea that they all got into his mouth and they all ate the inside of his body, then they come out of his chest and his mouth. It's like, oh, just, it's a wince-inducing, which is the point, and that's a good kind of wince-inducing. It's not a Serbian film or Martyrs or other bullshit. Like, this is the fun kind of wincing. And then it ends with Tom Atkins getting his comeuppance. So, I mean, I like the little animated interstitials between the stories. I like Tom Savini. Tom Savini has a fun cameo at the end with his other guy as a garbage man. That was a cool little addition. The stories, 4 out of the 5 stories, and 4 out of 5 ain't bad at all. 4 out of 5 is a really good average. For anthologies, a damn good average. The music, I believe it was John Harrison that did the music. I could be wrong on that. Music fits the film well. The direction, the enhanced colors and color schemes, times where the camera's like tilted and yeah, making it feel like a comic book panel at times. The cast, Hal Holbrook, Leslie Nielsen, Ted Danson, Stephen King, Tom Atkins, E.G. Marshall all did their jobs well. The effects by Tom Savini with the fake E.G. Marshall body and all the cockroaches coming out of it. The plant that Stephen King becomes at the end of his story. The zombies that Ted Danson and Galen Ross look like with seaweed on them. My favorite creation would be the crate creature. I mean, the only issue I have is the first story. Like, honestly, in retrospect, if the first story was the raft from Creepshow 2, I think there'd really be no issues I would have with it. Again, in retrospect, if you took Father's Day out and you put the raft, you'd be like, wow, that's a hell of a way to open it, and E.J. Marshall, that's a hell of a way to close it, but I mean, that's just my opinion. I know some people like the Father's Day segment. I was just never a fan. But yeah, other than that, I don't know what else to say. It's a great anthology. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised, considering the studio. Now, have they done a special edition Creepshow in the U.S.? Because I know I have the Blu-ray that's the documentary. Just Deserves to Make Your Creepshow, the full-length documentary, and it has some other nice special features. And that was released in the U.S. I have it over there. That's what I'm looking at. But I'm just wondering if Stream Factory or other has ever done... I can't think of it. I thought there was talk of it. I could be wrong on that, though. If not, I'm shocked that there hasn't been. I should just look it up. I got a computer here. It was funny, like in the U.S., Creepshow 2 got a special edition before Creepshow 1. And yeah, I just thought that was funny. Yep, collector's edition. October 23rd, 2018, around there. Okay, yeah. There was my great guy Pizzow did a review of it. You checked out the review. New 4K stand brings the commentary of George Romero. New commentary director of photography Michael Gornett. New audio commentary composer first assistant director John Harrison. And construction coordinator Ed Fountain. Roundtable discussion on the Make Your Creepshow with John Amplis, Tom Atkins, Tom Savini, and Marty Schiff. Comic book look and interview with costume designer Barbara Anderson. Interview with animator Rick Catazone. Looked at the restoration of Creepshow with director of photography Michael Gornick. Interview with sound recordist Chris Jenkins. Looked at Mondo's various Creepshow posters. I looked at some of the original props and collectibles. Tom Savini's behind the scenes footage. Horror's Hallowed Grounds. Cool. Deleted scenes, trailers, TV spot, radio spots. So it doesn't have the full-length documentary, the Just Desserts. Huh. So you'd have to, if you don't have that, you have to buy that for the documentary. Or if you have that, you got TV. Oh, okay. Well, I'm fine with this DVD here. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, Stream Factory a lot of times, they're too damn expensive. But I'm fine with the DVD. But yeah, it's a classic. I know repeating myself. Damn good film. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for more reviews from the year 1982. See you guys later. Oh, and real quick, like, what's your favorite anthology movie? And Doesn't have to be Creepshow. Again, what's your favorite anthology movie? Second off, what is your favorite story from Creepshow? You know, feel free to leave that in the comments if you'd like. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.